That is, I don't know, some sort of ivy that grows in the trees out here, and it needs to go. You can see where I was cutting. See that branch right there? That piece of ivy? I cut it. You can see how it kind of sprouts up again, but it's still growing, and I was trying to figure out, why is it still growing? Well, because this right here is not a tree trunk. This is the ivy. It's that thick, and I just assumed that was a trunk, but you can see how I cut these little pieces off. This was like last year, and I overlooked this because I just figured that was the tree trunk, but that is the ivy. That's why this tree has a ton of ivy in it, and that stuff will spread out over to these other trees. And I'm camped with my family right now on their property, so I want to help maintain it a little bit. You can see how these all got cut here, but there's a big, what do you call that? I guess it's just a vine or a trunk or something that needs to be cut. So how am I going to cut it? Well, you guys always send the dogs and I stuff. Man, I got so many treats. But this was something that was on my Amazon wish list, and it's super awesome that Terry 3193 sent me this saw. And so I'm going to attempt to use this saw right now. We'll see how this thing works. It's from Amazon. I'll put a link to it down below. So if you like how it works, if I like how it works, then maybe you'll want to get one for yourself. Terry, thank you so much for sending this. I put stuff on that list that isn't urgent usually, but it's stuff that I want to try out and potentially carry full time. So why would I need this, like living my lifestyle where I'm traveling, living in the woods, living in the desert? It's something like this. It's an 11-inch blade. If I get stuck on a dirt road because there's a log across the road, and up here in the Northwest that happens all the time on the forest roads, then at least I have something I can saw myself, you know, cut. At least I have something I can cut the logs with. You know, if a tree falls, trees fall all the time. If it's something thin like this, it's going to take me no time to get through it, pull that section out, and I can continue the truck, you know, going through. If it's something bigger, like say it was a tree trunk like this thick, it's about 10 inches in diameter, I'd have to make several cuts, but I could do it. You know, when you're on those roads, you have plenty of time to do stuff like that. So having a backup like this as a way to get myself out in case somebody doesn't come along with a chainsaw is important. That's why I put this on my wish list, because I knew it was something that I didn't desperately need, but when you need it, you're so glad you have it. So let me figure out how this thing works. My first impressions are, you know, it doesn't feel super sturdy, but it does have a good rating on Amazon. Click that link in the description. That helps us out. Even if you don't buy anything, even if you don't buy the saw through that link, just clicking that link helps the channel out. So you guys click that link, check it out. Check the reviews. That's why I put this one on the list, because of the good reviews. Let's take a look at it, and I'm going to put it to the test. I'm up on the side of a hill here. It's a little awkward, but this is the saw. It says garden line. Okay, so you push this button down, and then the blade slides out like that, and apparently it's locked into place. You can see, like, that's pretty cool. That's big. I have one of these in the truck, but it's not nearly this long. It's about half that length. So something like this, I mean, I can do a lot of damage. I'm gonna make several cuts in this, you know, because I don't want it to grow back. Oh, this thing's sharp. Perfect. The blade is awesome. A lot of times pocket knives will have this similar type of blade design, and I love it because it's so sharp, and you never really need to sharpen it. You can't sharpen it, in fact, I don't think. It's just super, super toothy, you know, fairly thick blade. It's so awesome. Terry, thanks again. This is rad. Okay, let me get you a close-up of this thing in action here. Yeah, I want to make a couple cuts just so it doesn't grow back. That's it. I mean, that took no time at all. I did that with one hand. Super easy. But here's what I want to know from you guys that travel on those dirt roads, especially up in the mountains where trees fall down all the time. I mean, I see them all the time across the roads. What I usually do when I see a tree is a lot of times I can just pull it off the side of the road. I've never had to like sit there and wait for someone to come by with a chainsaw. Up here in the Northwest, there's you know, a lot more chainsaws on the road. Like, as far as if you run into somebody, there's a better chance of finding someone with a chainsaw. Of course, out in the deserts, a lot of people are not going to carry a chainsaw, and I don't want to carry one because I got to keep it oiled, maintenance, that kind of thing, for something I'm pretty much never going to use. Something like this is small and lightweight. You know, it's really compact, so it doesn't take up any room. I can stick this. Okay, now here's something I noticed. Does it lock closed? It doesn't seem like it locks closed. Put down in the comments if I'm doing this wrong, but I don't think it locks closed. It locks open, and then you hit this button to unlock it from being open, and then to close it, it just kind of rests there, which is fine, but I would prefer it if it locked closed, just so if I ever do grab it, it's not like in that position, because you could cut yourself, that kind of thing. So you guys, let me know what you use, what you carry. I think something that would be good would be a bow saw, because that has a really big blade on it. You can get them like 16 inches, and so they have foldable ones that are real small, basically kind of this size too. So you get a bigger blade, and you'd be able to, you know, cut through really thick logs in just, you know, a few pulls like that. This is, you know, basically it's cheaper. It's a little bit smaller, so that's why I kind of went with this. Some of you are going to be like, oh, you got to carry a chainsaw. But I need something that's realistic. I don't cut wood for fires, because I usually don't do fires. Like, I don't have a lot of campfires. I am traveling, looking for a place to camp here pretty soon, so you guys will see where the dogs and I end up.